Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to speak on the termination of pregnancy restriction terminations after 22 weeks and 6 days amendment bill on behalf of the Greens, and to indicate my strong opposition to the bill. And I do want to commend the Honourable Jing Lee on her thoughtful contribution, one that was grounded in her faith and also on the medical evidence that she referenced. So I commend her on that speech. Mr. President, access to abortion is fundamental to the right to healthcare. This is a fundamental view of the Greens. And I must say, I speak on this matter with some considerable reluctance. I'm really disappointed that this matter has been put back on this Parliament's agenda once again. But also, back when I first became involved in student activism more than 20 years ago, I was a big believer in the idea of autonomous organising. Fundamental to that philosophy was the idea that women should be the people that speak on these matters and make decisions about their own bodies, not men. And one of the things that does really trouble me about this debate is so often we hear men lecturing women about what they should do with their bodies, and I totally disagree with that. The right to access abortion as part of healthcare is a fundamental philosophy for the Greens. I recognise the former Marshall Liberal government moved abortion laws out of the criminal law and grounded that within a health framework, and that was the right thing to do. And I do want to acknowledge the leadership of my crossbench colleague, the Honourable Tammy Franks, who did a huge amount of work to make that happen, and also, of course, the Honourable Michelle Lensink. The decision around abortion should be a matter that a woman is able to take in consultation with her doctor. This should be a matter for GPs, not MPs. And I hope that we will finally see an end to this bill being brought before this chamber and all of the division that causes. I might also just make a few remarks about the tenor of the debate. I have been deeply troubled by some of the tactics that have been adopted by the proponents of this bill and its previous iteration. Some of the intimidatory tactics that have been adopted on social media that have sought to vilify and demean members of Parliament and create a space where people feel that they can't express their views. I think that's a real shame, and it brings us into the territory that we've seen in other jurisdictions around the world. I think it's appalling that members of this chamber have been vilified as members of the Baby Killers Club, for instance. I think that's appalling. And I think it's also appalling that just today there have been people offering to play a bingo and trivialising our speeches in this chamber, and indeed, I think, debasing the Parliament itself. This sort of thing is not the direction that we should be taking in our politics here in South Australia. I think we should be better than that. And so I really urge the proponents of this bill outside of this chamber that are adopting those tactics to move away from that. And the final point that I would make is that it is always a source of frustration to me and the Greens that matters of women's reproductive rights and indeed LGBTI rights are always matters of conscience for the two major political parties, and yet they bind on nearly everything else. And why is it that we have a political system where the major parties don't allow a conscience vote on whether or not you send someone to war, or whether or not children are locked behind razor wire as part of our immigration detention system, yet women's reproductive rights are seen as a luxury opt-in item where every member can form an independent view? I think that's a real shame, and I look forward to the day when these are matters of platform for the two major political parties. But with that, I indicate my strong opposition to this bill, and I hope that we finally see an end to this matter and that women can feel secure in the knowledge that their reproductive rights are going to be protected in South Australia.
Mr. Hunter.